a chance to win it. They were able to get that on the overload, and that kind of started the spree of all of the exposures we saw at Major 2 in Birmingham. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things that for Toronto, map pool question marks have been mostly answered in the way that, hey, you're just going to get a hard veto in the mix, especially for overload, force people to play you on one of two maps you've got a lot of reps on. Some question marks surrounding what's going to happen, like with this new hardpoint pool with Gridlock and Sake. Same thing, of course, with the search and destroy. Also the fact that we've expanded into 6 overall maps in each of those 2 pools. So see what we get from Toronto as we go through this qualifier, but for now it's seeing if they can handle their business on this Boston Breach team. Let's get it on. We got dead hardpoint to kick us off.
Yeah, if you're Koi, you want to take care of business on the hard points, but I think what they did in the vetoes in this series is ideal for them to just improve as a roster, because S&D is the only thing truly holding this team back. So playing the new maps, getting ahead of the game. You saw them yesterday on Plaza. They dominated that one. So the Fringe and map number 2, it's a classic. They should be prepared for that one as well.
Yeah, the storylines are definitely, you know, we know what our top teams are looking like. You know, it's obviously you talk about Optic, but looking at what a Paris would do versus what a FaZe would do through Major 1 to Major 2, the real question mark is what kind of was last year. It's like, who is going to be that top 4, top 5 team to be another contender for Sunday? Toronto has put themselves immediately in the conversation, and it's been a flawless start here through P1, 28-0, and the rotation on lock towards P2. Boston under some pressure, trying to find a break.
Yeah, this is already an issue here for Boston Breach. Dead last in rotation. Win percentages, a lot of that is due to this lane that they're not able to provide. And now you're on the back foot. 3 go down in the feed. Koi are pushing out over towards rooftop, and Boston Breach gonna have 10 to 15 seconds before they can even get close towards this P2.
Yeah, really nice little bump out here from Kips. Eventually gets taken down, but that's so much space given for the defenders inside the hard point themselves. Spart even a little bit antsy about moving his way across the roofs. Nasty in the cut though, able to find one, can't get in the second, and now it's just on to Afro to finish things off, and this is what Afro brings to the table. Staying presence inside the hard point. He gets 2, and the break is good for Boston.
Yeah, that's a big moment there for Boston to give themselves some momentum. A good chunk of time as well, with 30 seconds still remaining here at the P2, because now Koi are gonna just cut their losses and think about that setup at the new HB. Gonna slay your way out as much as you possibly can, but Boston with a great response, keeping themselves in the mix.
Yeah, looking solid, at least on rotation. Will be Toronto, though, to make up for that back 30. Boston give themselves a fighting chance to stay even early. Here comes the hit, starting to be brought together largely from the front. Really, it's just Purge trying to play through the cut. Kips once again, though, creating some space in front of the hard point. He and Joe DeCease will find 3, and Purge really can't even hit the mid cut. He's got to try to play around the backside of Dojo.
Yeah, now he's waiting for the next team push. It's going to be Boston again going through Cabo, but this time they take care of Kips. Koi are trying to hold down the rest of this while being outnumbered, and they lose all the gunfights. So Koi get broken. Let's see how they break back in with a listening.
Outer 10. Outer Dojo right now. He's about to slide me.
One shot, yeah.
Got naded.
1 hard. They're back for it.
I'm gonna show.
I'm coming. One's deep. Deep left. One's out close. Nice.
Nice.
Never give me section.
1080 nasty.
Shoulder and mid.
Baited 1080.
Right side, dead.
Yo, one, there's 2 on me. One
One
through front now. I'm going
one more.
Dojo, dead end. I'm going through front now.
Turn around.
Okay, only 2 here. Only 2 here.
For spot as well.
Yeah, true.
Let's see it.
Go back patio, now Purge. Purge back patio door now. Nice shit. All front.
I had low red.
We'll keep it going. Block the back. Yep.
Go.
Yo, I have mid. I have all mid. I'm gonna repinch. Hard block. Yeah, one down.
Gonna be close, bro.
Yo, what's close?
On lane 3. I need help. Just hold my
On the window. Pinch. I'm about to wrap. Go with.
Okay, out, Chuck.
One more outer. I'm playing live.
I'm chilling out. Both here, Jimmy.
Smart. Yeah, well, nice.
Last one. Keep blocking. I got time. Yep, I got it.
I'm about to shot mid.
Yeah, they should spawn.
Yo, lights up one more. One at P2. I'm about to 2 P2. One light. Double lights.
One shot, we need to.
I'm playing here close. Lights on one shot, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to try. Hey, one back patio.
Low.
Oh, yeah.
Back patio.
I just did some fried shit. Out of P2, my bad. Out of P2. He might go tools.
Back tools, guys. Down the steps.
Nice, bro.
That's a good shot.
I think that's pitching.
We're gonna be cut. There could be lobby.
A good time.
Right side.
Oh, lights, bro. Lights afro.
Oh, you, bro. Dojo.
They're gonna chop me old, boys. Yeah,
3 off HP.
Nothing else, Dojo, okay?
Yo, afro me left, probably double me left. Yo, on P1, their side.
I got him.
Yeah. P1, left, P1. Okay, one more. Afro left.
It's not time yet.
I'm gonna lobby pinch.
Top blue and low red.
Well, you can definitely tell through the comms. A little bit of fun being had by Toronto. A couple of rogue plays that they're realizing quickly may have not been the best overall options. But hey, in that little bit of giggle, you got Boston only down about 30 points, and they're doing a nice job over the middle of the map to get some time here on P1.
And it's not been off the rotation. It's been about the breaks for Boston Breach. And right there at the P4, it's Kips with that route that gives them the opportunity. One player from Boston spawns behind Dragon, and that sets up a break for about 20 seconds. So even though Koi are giggling in their comms, Boston is still in this fight. 25 seconds remaining at the P1. You're winning the gunfights all around the map. That's 3 for none besides a team kill. So Boston get the break, and they flip the spawns.
Yeah, and Joe's a little bit stuck right now. Head on a swivel. Oh, I'm sure he's thinking he had Afro dead to rights, but doesn't win that gunfight outright. So now it's down to Insight to hold his life. Kips on the other side of the map playing on roofs, looking for an early influence towards the front of the second hard point, but that's not going to work out. And the follow-up from Kleenex also shut down. So nice moment here for Boston on rotation. They get the full wipe. Now they've got the perfect setup, just down to can they actually get the lead back.
Yeah, the first chance that Boston have finally secured themselves a rotation, and they also found gunfights right after that to hold it down for the first attempt. But you can already see Toronto on their attempt now through couches finding Inisu 2. Joe falls off the map, but you still have the numbers to try to contest this. It's only going to be on Insight, though. And we saw his clash yesterday. He was running everything for recoil stabilization. Insight needs to be more active.
Hear that? And that was timing that kind of has him on a self-inflicted staggered spawn, and Boston are going to reap the reward of that. Another 3-man feed. Joe able to avoid being traded out through mid-map will at least keep Toronto in the mix on rotation, but this has been significant time for Boston. A pretty much flawless hold here through 2, and now you've got pressure across the map. And Joe loses one outright to Afro, but Kips is there for his trade, and the hit for Boston has to make his way through the mid-cut. And we'll take a look to see if Boston keep this going. Little momentum building as we step aside to a breach. Listen in.
I hear you, I'm coming. Joe's already out fucking on P3, on P3.
I'm weak. Close left, hey, close left.
I hear you. He named me.
Nothing out of brick yet.
I'm going across the left. Deep left on the bench. I'm going bench. Close. On the close left. I'm trying to
Shot quick if we can.
Close lane down, outer. He keeps speed. Outer brick, speed.
All blue. Joe, you like the out brick.
One shot on time. There's one B cut. One.
I'm leaning over.
Pushing out close left.
Yeah.
Close left. He's on outer brick, Joe. Weak.
Okay.
Could be close blue now.
This is main. Make us main. Okay, it's main dead.
Nice, I'm watching
outer brick. I'm on it back. Oh, someone can go.
Missing Jamie.
Dead.
Y'all have fun, you then go mid.
Yeah, I'm going mid. How about to be?
Yo, I'm sitting mid. They're going in there. I'm out of
They're all going new.
Weak as fuck. You trying running into me. There's two. Take your time.
Two guys back.
Back door on the pillar. Back door. One shot, Jamie. One shot back door, Jamie.
One shot,
Come in. You going down the window.
One shot, fuck Nick. Absolute inner. Tips, he jumped out the window. He jumped out the window. He's close left.
Close left.
Nice, big kill.
Yeah, nice moment here for Boston overall. Toronto will get some of the scrap time, though. That could lead towards, again, just kind of regrowing the deficit that was already in play throughout the majority of this map. And this last hit for Boston is falling apart. All 4 will fall. And this back 20 is looking really good for Koi.
Yeah, it was a nice moment for Boston at the ending of that P2 to the P3, keeping it scrappy. But in the final 15 seconds, exactly what Koi did to you on the P4, you did it to them. But then on their first attempt through the front door, they outgunned you to shreds. And now walk away with at least 45 seconds here at the P4 and give themselves a comfortable lead going back over towards the P1. Just situations where Boston, when they beat them to the punch, when they are in the driver's seat, where ego challenging in certain situations and losing those key one-on-one gunfights, that's what's giving Koi this lead.
Yeah, and more one-on-one gunfights here at P1. All of it working out nicely as Joe got to 6 in a row before falling. He's now at 30 and 18, which is a stark comparison to the 10 and 19 from Insight. Again, the SMGs have found a huge boost with the NPC out, but this has been a little bit different for Joe Deceives. Kips over the top, kind of showing flexibility between both weapons. Trades are abound. Pinstripe kill feed leaves the hard point neutral until Insight able to get himself onto 3 in a row and hold his gun up. They're on the backside of this P1 time.
They just needs to continue to fight because Boston are flooding every single player to not allow Koi to get any time off of this P1. And I got players like Purge working on this route through back broken. It's going to allow his team to soak up this junk time and now try to contest for these spawns because one player from Koi is going to be all the way across the map. So you have the numbers. Purge with the frag and Spark with the gunny. The only player in the backside has to be Insight. He needs to make a big play.
Yeah, but I don't know if Boston are aware that he's back here at the moment.
They will once the guy spawns.
Will drop, and yep, so say once he spawns, they're going to realize, whoa, we're in some trouble here. So now Toronto have a little 2-2 split. 2 from the back, 2 from couches. Can they find the gunfights though? Maybe easier said than done, although CleanX and Insight counteract that point by finding the opening very cleanly. Now Kip's back to the hard point. He's going to clear some space. And Boston don't find a single kill off of what was a very solid setup inside the hill. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's tough, man, because not finding a kill now allows Koi to know all 4 are dead. We can take more space through the front side, and the back spawns are secured. So they can still close it out here with all this P2 time. You're going to give it one last push if you are Boston through the front, and Spark gives you a double.
Yeah, Insight though really starting to heat up now on 5 in a row before being traded up by Purge, who turns that into a second. 12 seconds of scrap time, not insignificant for Toronto, so Joe will hit that off the delayed spawn, and that is time that will get them over the 240 threshold, just down to Boston, having to play perfect COD. And it's a split pitch setup here with the spawn from Purge. He finds the first. That turns the heads of Toronto. Good kills from the front, combining with that effort from the back. So now it's just how can you finish off this last hit, but where are we? We're not inside the hard point. We're just both doubled up inside of 10. Toronto pick it apart, winning moment potentially capitalized on, and that is indeed the case. Another moment where just like we just saw P2, Boston just maybe too nervy playing from inside the hill, give up too much space and drop the map.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense though, Al, because Purge is working on the pinch, and you also found a kill from Dojo's side. So that puts you in a 4v2. We have the numbers, we have the advantage. All we have to do is chow in sync. You don't, and that allows CleanX through mid-cut to find a 3-piece, Clips to clean out the final guy, and Koi to close out the game. Boston, especially on that first rotation, was just a little bit late to the party. Lost every single roto, and then in the time where they had an opportunity to get it done at the P4, you instantly got broken. Koi were having a little bit too much fun, especially when we jumped to that listening that gave Boston opportunities to get themselves in the game or keep themselves in the game, but Koi were in firm control from start to finish due to this lane presence.
Yeah, and just overall objective control that comes off of that slaying, I think, is also important to note. Like, we saw that a lot for Toronto when they were in the midst of, I would say, their major 2 qualifiers in particular, and also just at the major on this map. Not only do they find good team kill death ratio, but more importantly, all 4 players able and willing to get inside the hard point when the situation calls for it. So good stuff for Toronto to battle back against some of the hilarity that they were kind of doing to themselves versus this Boston, very recently formed Boston team. But it still is one of those things. It doesn't seem to matter what the roster is for Boston. The same problems continue to plague them when it comes to confidence in low number situations. That's something that I think we all noted on very heavily with the first iteration of this roster, where it's like, hey, in 2v2s, they're just kind of falling apart and like getting onto their heels. And we saw that a couple of critical times in this map as well.
Yeah, it's just Boston. I don't really know like what you can build off on, because slaying is usually the key to success to fix all of your problems. You're not finding your kills, that means you're not winning rotations. Also, you're not finding your kills, that means you're not holding down setups, and you're probably most likely not breaking into HPs. So it's a struggle. SMGs performed a little bit. You gave yourself some highlight moments, but the ARs were lackluster there on that opening den. So if you are Boston Breach, again, another situation where you find yourself down 0-1 in this series, looking for a search and destroy bounce back. And for them, it's kind of sucky because Colossus is out the map pool. They've only been able to win 1 map other than that, and that's Raid. And unfortunately, that's not map number 2. You got to figure out Fringe.
Yeah, man, it's always really interesting when we get to this halfway point in the season and we deal with, well, in this particular instance, a weapon meta change as well as a giant map change. Like, I don't know if we've had this much, you know, removal and addition of maps.
Yeah.
Maybe ever in the CDL era? Like, I'm thinking back to like when we did a little bit like Cold War, we had like an influx because we added things like Express and Raid and like all of the lineage maps from Black Ops 2, and it's kind of the same thing in this instance as well. But this is a weapon meta, a significant one, change up. Plus, we're not just changing and removing maps, we're also adding another one to the Hardpoint and the Search and Destroy map pool. So it's like you really have to get with it if you're especially a team who finds themselves in the bottom half of the league, because there's just not a lot of time for you to make up points and relearn maps and relearn weapon metas. It's a huge curveball being thrown their way.
Yeah, it's realistically a brand new game, man, because you see the teams that were shining in that AR presence, like the Miami Heretics. They were great when everybody was running an M15. You saw them in their first series when they have to make those adjustments now to the NPC meta. It was a struggle for them, and you saw it for LA Thieves. They showed drastic improvement. Vancouver have been on the upward trajectory. Some teams, it's working out very well for them. The other teams who have lackluster submachine guns are still the ones struggling. So got to figure out the weapons. Obviously, like you said, you got to figure out the new maps, and I think for the squads who are struggling, that's your key to success. best to try to catch these guys off guard is the new maps. And what we saw from Boston yesterday on Fringe versus FaZe, they had a lot of rounds where they get the first blood, but throwing away a bunch of these number situations. I know that's FaZe. I know that they're usually historically known for clutching up in a majority of those rounds, but those are situations that you cannot throw away. And now versus Koi, who aren't the best search and destroy team, you redo those adjustments you did from yesterday and come up more prepared today on Fringe.
I like that call. I like that call a lot. And, you know, again, it's just keep your eye on it. I know we kind of mentioned it in very cursory notion, talking about like Boston, whether it's Respawn or Search, when they're into a limited number of members still left available. So again, talking about 2v2s, 2v3s, like when we start to deal with less than 3 on the map at one point in time, it just feels like there's no one quarterbacking the call. It just feels like they get a little bit lost, a little bit stagnant. That is something that could definitely come to bite you, especially on Fringe. That, let's be honest, like tempo on this map in this first weekend has been high. Like we're dealing with some very lightning fast rounds. It almost feels like early Vault from last year, for instance. It's just everyone diving at each other, and usually the round solves itself in the first 45 seconds. So if you are finding yourselves in a 2v2 early and you're still forcing these engagements, you need to be able to read the situation and make the right read, and that's something that Boston's really struggled with.
Yeah, and that sometimes could be due to like making a brand new roster change, a lot of ISO ball all around the map, even in number situations, not really understanding what the play call is as a collective unit yet. But versus a team like Koi, you can definitely capitalize on those. Definitely looking at a playmaker in Purge who had a 2-9 performance on the map like Fringe. He found himself in so many key positions yesterday, like what 04 was doing, but 04 was winning those one-on-one gunfights. You need Purge to have that kind of impact, to have that kind of game-changing difference with his SMG, especially around that A site.
Yeah, and I think, talking about, Purge and, being, so to speak, like the last standing member from the long lineage of the Boston Breach roster, especially the one from last year, you have to kind of feel like at his point in his career, no longer anywhere near to the term of a rookie, wouldn't necessarily say that he's the most veteran player in the league because of the bouncing back and forth between multiple teams, but obviously for this particular roster, he's probably feeling like I'm the guy in the camp. So I'm sure he's going to be very vocal. We've actually heard that a lot from listen-ins from Purge, getting more active, but at the same rate, you also got to keep in mind, like Afro and Nasty technically as a duo together have the most overall success in terms of playing off of one another, whether it was back when they played on London or more specifically when they played on LA. So it'll be interesting, I think, to see like who takes over, especially in Search, between that duo and then Purge wanting to be the quarterback for this squad.
Yeah, I think Purge can be a good quarterback whenever he's putting himself in those positions and not scamming in those situations, because that's when he's playmaker Purge, the guy that everybody likes to watch. But when he puts himself in that position and then overextends a little bit and gets caught, that's when everybody's looking like, oh, this guy should be dropped. He's without a doubt like one of the most intelligent SMGs potentially that we've had because of the way that he thinks about the game. He's just truly lacking gunny in certain points, and that's what's causing.
Yeah. It's funny, I remember a conversation very early on, I think it was actually at COD Next with Miles. He was talking about the players that came in and did a play test, and they were still using active camo. I remember Miles giving high praise to Purge because he would like pop camo, jump into the hardpoint, and then
I remember,
and call everybody out. So like his mind for the game it definitely feels like it's grown a lot. But you're right, it's definitely been a moment of concern looking at a couple of 1v1s. I think especially in Search and Destroy, just looking at his first death ratio, has not necessarily been as high as other SMGs trying to set pace in the league. So
that's what I'm saying though, Al. Like if you're gonna take that role of being the island guy to try to set the pace, to be the first blood guy, you gotta have some success doing it. If it's not working out, screw that ISO ball. Let's just do a team push. It'll probably be better for us.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay, well, on the flip side of things, it's enough about Boston. Again, Puckett very appropriately talking about how positive we constantly are. Toronto's look great. I mean, in terms of bringing in Kips, finding that little bit of a boost for success. It's just down to the question mark of can they find that success in Search and Destroy. And again, getting rid of Colossus and Exposure are not the end of the world for Toronto. It's about can they add maps like Fringe and Gridlock and Plaza into the mix. And we've already seen them do so on Plaza. Can they do something here on Fringe, as Spart will be sniping for Boston? He's able to find one top barn, but nothing to connect. We'll stay 4v4.
A lot of space taken already though from Koi. Yeah, presence in towards A bricks. You push that towards Junkyard as well, and Boston have yet to leave the spawn with 30 seconds. So now eventually going to rally for the push here. And as long as you keep on throwing shows to the middle of the map, you got the info. If you're Kleenex, pushes at B.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, you've got no more than just the information from Kleenex. You've also got Joe that could hit a quick pinch, and Kips finding an elimination through mid. Now has 3 members defending from the front. Afro will drop inside, able to find one more behind that. And it's just down to Nasty. Nowhere to go. Flawless opening round for Toronto.
Yeah, you just give Toronto too much space to work with if you don't do anything to try to take it away from them. With all that time ticking. They had Brisk control, they had Junkyard, they had a player consistently throwing shoulders through top barn, and all it took was Kleenex spotting them, crossing over towards trains. And then it also helps when Kips finds the first one through the middle of the map, because you put yourself in a number situation, you're reading the pressure, 4 up, 4 down. Very clean round there from Toronto.
Love it. And I like just the timing of that little push up from Joe in particular, knowing that, okay, we haven't seen any nades towards A. It's about halfway through the round. Let me just try to work my way up. And yeah, that just completely isolates the map. Over towards the rail yard. Here comes the push for Toronto. They're able to get at least somewhat inside, but if Boston are still in a pretty forward spot to deal with it until Kleenex is able to find first blood.
Yeah, inside spots that cross. Information is good enough for the first blood. And now Boston looking to make up for it in the numbers. They're reading the play that's going to be over towards train side, but you can see Kips slowly but surely working his way up the middle of the map. Does get caught by Spart, but insight instantly there for the trade. Now objectives should be going down.
It's a really, really important trade because now, as we mentioned, Boston in a low number situation are a bit split. Nasty, the last one standing again for the 1v3 potential opportunity, and gets caught swapping between weapons. Good feel out from Toronto again. Just we'd get our first level of space. We get into that rail yard position. Our scope is up. We can lock down mid-map to deal with the defense rotating. And wouldn't you know it, all it takes is an opening slide out to find first blood and completely open up the map.
Yeah, I said it before the map starts. Boston threw away a lot of number situation versus FaZe, but if you don't find yourself in a number situation, it's probably even worse in that category. Cannot continue to get first blooded here on Fringe. Because when you're simply outnumbered, even though Spart finds that trade, too many angles to be aware of, Insight instantly responds, and then Purge single-handedly is thinking the bomb's got to be getting planted, so I potentially have the jump on him, but he gets caught, and Toronto quickly up 2-0.
Yeah. And look at this from Toronto, already aggressive in front of the A site. Afro trying to just feel things out. Will be pushed back by stuns and nades. That's a lot of ground given to Toronto. They are happy to have that, and that's what you do. You just kind of keep someone forward, scale them deep. Everyone else defensively can worry about mid and that long rail yard play through B, and this time Joe overwhelmed. First blood tally for Boston.
Yeah, that's big plays though out of Boston because all that space that Toronto wanted, if Joe continues to stay alive in towards 10, Boston are going to be trapped in towards the spawn, so they get the first blood. They're effective on the trades. Purge with the route through the map. Now leaves Insight left in a 1v3. So Boston finally get on the board. Joe Deceives gifted that one to them.
Yeah. I mean, gifted, I don't know if I would use that word completely, just due to the fact that like Toronto were trying to set up that play to get someone deep, keep them scaled forward. It's just Boston are not that unaware. It's just, okay, we'll double shell out every position we can. And yeah, it's just a tough gunfight for Joe. No follow-up behind him as the defense is already re-wrapping back over towards B. So tough situation, but Boston take advantage of a good number situation for not the first time, but at least a key time here early in the map.
Now to the defensive side they go. Back to the 2-2 split, or actually the 3-1 split. Spark gonna put himself in that angle that Abuza used versus them. And Insight's just trying to line it up with the boom.
Toronto will know, though, by taking their time here, that they will have to clear every tight corner. And here comes the play forward into A. Jump out, slide out. This next call's a tough one. Great shoulder from Purge, and he's stuck. Nowhere to go. No help nearby either, although Nasty is able to find a trade on a delayed play through the window, through the doorway. Joe not deterred, trying to push up. Able to get a stun involved on top of the A side, and that keeps Boston at bay, and the inside's able to connect. Follow-up from Kips is great. And now it's the 3v1 for Toronto.
Spartan needs to try to get the jump on him to stand a chance in this round. Puts down shots onto Kips. The bait and switch is trying to go down, but you still have them trapped on the backside of bricks. Not going to risk the gunfight anymore. Let's just get it planted.
Yeah. Oh, Spartan able to find one in the meantime, though. We'll get the reset and just barely slip away from Insight. Goes back, able to find a couple of shots. Looking for the second contestant, no one nearby. So now Spart makes his way onto the bomb. Has an NPC to play with. There's the first shoulder. Has to peel Joe off a tough angle. Joe's up there like, he's doing what?
He's like, yeah, he must not be me. There's no way he's challenging me like that. Throws his shoulder and almost rips him. Curious to see how much HP Joe had there at the end of that one, because out of a reaction, NPC meta, yeah, knocked down a 7 HP. That's a gunfight you still didn't stand a chance in, but Joe still gets done.
These guys are vibing, man. We heard it in the listening on Den Hardpoint, but yeah, that was a little tighter than Joe's reaction made it out to be. And honestly, Spark just didn't have any other choice. Like, you just have to try to isolate. So 3-1 the count. Going into the next offensive round for Boston. A little bit more focus over the middle of the map this time, as Spark's going to watch that long cross. Nasty in a position to try to follow up if needed, but no one home, and at least not initially. Kip's taking a lot of damage, but able to tell the tale as he will retreat back and keep his life.
Oh, and you see what that's trying to do, open up this lane for Purge to potentially work his way up to the map, but insight from top barn finds the first blood. Now, on a man disadvantage, someone has to make a play, and it's Purge behind enemy lines. Gets the jump on Kips, makes it a 3v3. The trade is going to be in for Joe. Koi still have the numbers. Joe finds another.
Yeah, I Purge getting the first is great, but overchalling the second as Boston was trying to make a move feels a little over ambitious. Nasty just had passed Kleenex over towards trains. Not that it may have made much of a difference, because the bomb is the big target here that he's got to work for. And the shoulder there will have Nasty down and out in the middle of the crossroads. So Toronto now 4-1 up, and honestly, I don't just love what I'm seeing out of their individual capabilities on the map, but just by formation and strategy, they're looking really dynamic in what they're throwing to Boston to consider.
Yeah, the defensive lockdown has been perfection. The one round that they threw away was when Joe gets pushed out a little bit too much over towards Tin's side and just gifts that first blood without a trade going down. But Koi are just manipulating the map, forcing Boston to be uncomfortable, not showing face the first 15, 20 seconds. And then by the time they do, it's a sniper glare from top barn for the first blood. Purge made up for it, but he can't run back to barn side because that's not your spawn. You have no idea what Koi's setup is looking like. So unfortunately, in a bad spot, Joe gets a 2-piece for Koi up 4-1.
Interesting call here. Double push down through the rail yard, but at the same time, Boston are tossing a ton of nades at the front of A. They don't land, though. And that's important, because no information getting tallied by hit markers means Boston are already committing that this is going to be a B hit. It's not fully that, though. Bomb is still playing over towards the A side of the map, so Toronto are going to make noise at B and then likely see if they can flip things back over. But this first push to the top side of the barn, not going to work out. Inside also drops, and any plans of Toronto trying to finesse the map are now out the window.
Yeah, that's beautiful information gained by Spart. Allows Purge to get the first blood, and then he cleans house up for the second. So 4v2 left up to the superstars on Toronto. Joe and Kips. This duo, you can never count them out of any situation, but time is starting to tick.
Yeah, I think Joe's been scouted out by Spart as well, topside barn. Yeah, he was ready for that the whole way. Kips, 1v4. Good damage onto the first, able to finish with the pistol, and the second shots were clean, but the health pool just a touch too much to deal with, and Boston get another round on the board for them.
Yeah, great defensive look there. Just go for the 3-1 split that it's been working for them, and Koi decide to split up the teammates and go 2-2 across the map. That allows Spart's positioning to be impactful on the backside of barn. Gets the cross con for Purge to get the first blood. Walks up train side to find the second. And then Joe and Kips just outnumbered in that round. Stood no chance. Boston continuing to fight.
Need back-to-back rounds here, though, you would feel.
Yeah, they need an offense. They desperately need an offense.
Yep. 3-1 split for Toronto defensively. Joe just kind of on an island towards A. Will play pretty safely that direction. Spart with the trophy in front of him is just going to hold middle. And this is, again, Boston just playing a little bit back, seeing if they can catch Toronto playing with some speed. But none occurring here. It's going to be breached. The ones who have to make the call on what they want to do.
30 seconds already gone. And Toronto aren't giving you anything. Like, inside, all he's doing is throwing shoulders from top barn.
Oh,
but
no.
Kips, this time with the sniper, finds that first one onto Nasty. And there's only 45 seconds left. You are still left to leave your base.
That was through this window that Spart's at, I want to say. Or somewhere nearby. So it's an impressive shot, I'm sure, by Kips. And now you have a huge issue to deal with if you're Boston. Yeah, and this is why Joe's able to find just a little bit of information. Lots of damage thrown in his direction, but he's got help nearby. But it's Kips who's got the scope again, remember. So he will back away. and see if you can get a second chance to just defend this bomb. Nades off the inner walls. Whoa, that's an interesting little wall bounce from Afro, giving himself a chance to fight for the bomb. Is now down. Kips had seen that, but Spart finds the double. Then get just down to Kleenex. 10 seconds on the clock. They have to commit. Kleenex, aware of that, finds the first. Backing away, up and over the doorway. No, not quite able to finish off the 1v2 at Boston and get the much-needed offensive round.
It's a big play. Big round now out of Boston. Slow and steady wins the race. You don't find the first blood, but he said, screw it. We're just going to rally all of our guns through 10. You're able to isolate onto Joe, and then Kips in a bad position with that sniper. If he has any other gun, he's head glitching that bomb and most likely walking away with one, but Kleenex not full HP. And Spart not rushing that gunfight. Allows Boston to get 2 in a row. And now we go into the swing round.
Yeah. Toronto has shown their willingness to play aggressive on the offensive side of the map, especially towards B. That looks like that may be the case here, as Kleenex, the bomb carrier, has already made his way through trains. The only defender is Spart, again, playing that position that really throttled Boston the first time they played this map. Nade's cooked up to top barn. Nothing on the window. So now Kleenex, yeah, he'll check and he'll see Spart deep. And that may be enough for them to say, hey, if he's going to play that far off the map, let's try to hit something else with numbers.
Yeah, Toronto are hoping that Spart's given the comm that the play is going to be over towards B, so you could potentially catch Afro working on this late pinch through 10. But good shoulders out of Spart, keeping them at bay. And time continuously ticking down. 45 seconds left on the round. You know the positioning now of Kips. And potentially the play is going to be over towards B, but Joe just takes it into his own hands, finds the first blood. Nasty with the trade.
Yeah, it's a big trade from Nasty. Otherwise, that could have led to an immediate quick plant at A. But Insight's able to catch Spart on the rotation back over. So now Kleenex still holding on to the bomb, has to commit. Kips at mid-map. May have just missed timing, though. In some trouble. Little shoulder, just throwing a little bit of wiggle into the mix. And he's looking for help, and he's going to get it. Insight able to find one, but Purge double. As things moving with the bomb has been planted in the meantime. Leaving it just down to the 1v1 between Kips and Purge, who's back to full health.
Timing.
And Purge is going to make the first move. Shots are out. Can't finish. Kips able to shoot back, looking for the finish. Oh, both players are low. Both players hoping for the regen. And they'll both get it. Kips is out of there. Purge is trying to chase. Oh, no. He's lost him. 15 seconds. Purge up and over. Shots are out. Shots are good. Boston able to tie us at 4.
What a big play out of Purge to stay committed on the gunfight. I thought Kips with the re-wrap was going to catch him off guard and lie. Time to be his best friend, but Boston breached 3 rounds in a row. And I think an ace there from Purge, or potentially ends that round on 4. Clutches up in a big round there for Boston breach.
Yeah, the timing of this round in particular through the hallway was huge. And maybe some assistance given to the fact that the gunfight at mid was so far delayed. Everyone was trying to help.
Took so long.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Big round from Purge. Now 7-5, like you called, the ace in 4 in a row. Has him really close to a potential hellstorm late in this map, depending if this continues. Boston focused on mid early. Kleenex just once again throwing shoulders, and it's Kips in another position at the window to find first blood.
Man, he's such a great risk taker, and he's found so many first bloods throughout that bit of a map of Brick's window. Boston have to put a little bit more focus on that positioning, but now outnumbered, you need to make a play and make it quick. You're going to push out towards trains. Insight not able to line up the shots. Purge again making plays on 5 in a row.
Yeah, now you've got Kleenex just trying to hold off the position at mid barn. Purge 5 in a row, as mentioned, will not drop. Is able to reset. Bomb going to swing back over to A, and it would be Joe Deceives to watch this cross, and I don't know if he's seen much, if anything at all. Kleenex not aware of Nasty's position. But Joe, like you call, on the re-ramp, able to find the bomb planter. 25 seconds on the clock. Purge inside, just waiting for help. He's able to collect the bomb and push Joe off the angle, but on the other side, Kips was able to isolate, but can't win the gunfight, so now it's just down to Kips the 1v2.
Realistically, you should try to go for this bomb plant, because gonna waste a little bit more time, but it doesn't matter. Purge is still alive. That's 6 or 7 in a row, single-handedly pulling Boston Breach back in this search and destroy. As we take a look at the replay from Insight, he's just overwhelmed by the pressure and the Omni movement there from Purge. He ends that round on 5, 6, maybe 7 in a row. And now he might have that Hellstorm in the back pocket to call game.
Should be pretty close to it if he doesn't already have it. 7 in a row, surely he's got it. Yep, sure does. But he's going quick here. Maybe thinking that Toronto's going to play a little bit more reserve, so they're going to push out the A10 position once again. But Toronto all formed up over towards B. Cleanax going to go for the early plant.
Oh, this is going to catch them off guard, Al.
Yeah, no signs of a Hellstorm, but no need. Nasty's nades over the top, able to find Cleanax. No bomb plant. Minute on the clock.
That's big nades out of Boston to stop that bomb plant from immediately getting down, because you're thinking Purge is going to use that Hellstorm to basically call game here, but the frag slowed them down. Spark stays alive in the backside of bomb for the second kill. Now it's a 1v4.
Yeah, Insight will catch one, but he is obviously in a world of trouble and he will not get through Nasty. What a bounce back for Boston. It looked like when we were coming out the gate, Toronto was just having their way with the map control on both sides of the bomb. Defensively, absolute stalwart defense. But Boston kind of cracked the code, and I really can't like pinpoint one thing in particular that allowed them to do so, especially on the offensive side. It's just trading better, honestly, not getting caught and then letting Toronto step back into tall number situations early. So good stuff overall. In particular, great reads from Purge in terms of how the timing of the map was going, because he was in some trouble early, it looked like, from his opening timings.
Yeah, it's all that Boston like switched up their gameplay from the beginning of this game, because it's usually Purge taking all those risk routes. It was Afro this time around, and he was struggling in that category, especially when he was pushed up towards mid elbow. That's what was allowing Toronto to run away with early of these rounds. You go up 4-1, and then Boston make the adjustments. A couple rounds where they still get blooded, but you had players now in a position to make those impactful plays, and this is what I'm talking about with Purge. Like yesterday, we saw him on this map go 2-9, just get put in those positions, not able to win those gunfights though. Today, he finds himself in the same spots, but this time the gunny is working, and he single-handedly allows his teammates to go round after round. Doesn't even need to invest the Hellstorm to close that one out, and that's the Purge that I like to see. Series side now at 1.
Pretty solid, pretty clean. Good bounce back from Boston after a little bit of trouble navigating through the Den. Hardpoint has us looking at overload for map number 3. We'll see if Toronto can kind of keep their way on exposure, or can this newly formed Boston roster find a way to use Afro to get over that overload hurdle and take the edge? We'll find out when we come back.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
COD Champs tickets are on sale now. Come see the best teams lock in for this season's grand finale in fabulous Las Vegas. All 4-day passes come with early venue access. Head to FazeVegas.com or scan the QR code to get your tickets now.
Look like the pros to play like the pros. The CDL team skins are available now. Scan the QR code or check out the in-game store now.
Brought to you by America's Navy and the special operators who work in the shadows.
Did you feel bad about eliminating Vegas Legion from Champs?
Yes and no, but yes. They're seeing them like, ugh.
I don't know, actually. You are lying.
I'm lying? Them guys.
Yeah.
My bad, Clay.
Keep that shit together.
Do they keep showing it? They added it to the.
Hey, man. Yo, why are they showing me reacting to them showing me? You know what I mean? Like, what the f?
That's good work.
And I'm currently reacting to that clip of me reacting to the clip of me.
That's gonna be on the next one.
You know, and now they're gonna upload me reacting to the clip of me to me reacting to the clip of me. Unbelievable.
So they were hearing and we were hearing you. Good grenade. Oh, he just ice skated on him.
Yo, that was a skateboard move right there.
We gotta find him. We gotta find him.
You guys get smokes if you're a little weak.
He's running outside. He's running outside.
Eddie.
You're right.
Close. Let's go, baby! Come on! Come on! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome back to the Call of Duty League, and I'll tell you, whether you are someone who just thrives on watching the CDL or you enjoy Warzone, DreamHack Atlanta is going to have a little bit of everything esports for you. Make sure you join us in Atlanta. You can get your 3-day ticket packages now, and tickets are moving fast, so please don't hesitate. If you're even on the fence for it, you got to get in. You got to get involved. Birmingham was a movie. Atlanta, we haven't been back to since the Modern Warfare year, Jay. It's going to be nice to be back in the Deep South, and not only that, hey, it's things like Warzone, things like CDL, but Challengers, after the last event, seeing some main stage action for Challengers, this season of Elite's going to be insane. We got 2 teams to qualify still to the Pro-Am, Jay. It's going to be unbelievably tight, tense, and fun Wednesdays and Thursdays.
It's so much on the line for these amateur teams because realistically, this is your biggest opportunity to see what you are like up against the best in the world. So you got to get a top 2 finish or at least win the Elite to get that final spot to go up against the best guys. But I think without a doubt, it's going to be a top tournament because everyone loves a good underdog story, right, Al?
Yes, sir. I mean, we've seen over the course of, well, the last, 2 shared events between Challengers and CDL. Challengers teams are
Face
fighting.
Killers.
I'm telling you.
Remember?
I mean, the fact that we had 2 teams from essentially the Challenger space qualify through EWC groups. Yeah, that was insane. Like, what are we talking about? We're going to get some absolute nonsense happening in Atlanta. I'm here for it. Let's take a look at some of the overload statistics, though. In particular, we talked obviously about what Afro brings to the table for Boston, but Joe yesterday was everything, especially considering the fact that it was on this map. So trying to just do a little bit better than what they threw out after dropping this map to Riyadh, but the killing presence for Toronto on exposure and really any overload map has been insane. So trying to find those metrics once again is Joe.
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure it out on exposure overload because this is a map like Wheeler talked about. They played it 7 times in a row. No team wants to square up with them on Den anymore, so you gotta get better at this one so you can have the exact map pool that you want versus any team. So Coy, at least versus Falcons yesterday, we're always playing on the back foot. We're always trying to chase around the EMP carrier. You cannot allow that to be the case. Don't allow Boston to dominate time possession.
Yeah, now we're looking for some map controls here early, though, and Toronto is going to find a lot of pressure out of the M15 of Kips. Insight kind of head on a swivel here, looking for the next contestant as Nasty takes down 2. Spart finding a 3rd from up top, but the trade's out for Insight. Looking for one more, but no. That space now gained for Boston. Chance to grab if they want to, but instead are going to put pressure on the spawns. Kips comes out and finds the opener, and now the awareness is out for Toronto on where this EMP is moving.
Yeah, they take care of the lead blocker and Nasty at the A point. Now you know that Boston had to relocate over towards B. You've already cleaned up house on your first attempt, so now Coy have all the map control. Nasty needs to try to find a kill. He cannot, but Purge with that frag over the top is going to slow down Coy just a little bit.
Yeah, for at least a moment. Here's the full setup, though. Going to get essentially a 4v4 over the B site. Nades are landing. Boston able to find the first blood in this engagement. Purge trying to follow up, and does he expect the player down low? Not. And
oh, no.
Kleenex able to find one. Spart very quickly able to find the trade. So once again, things stay in this tug-of-war 50-50 battle over the panels.
Yeah, like, Coy, we're going to get a little bit of finesse, or we're just going to continue to have a square-out battle here at the solar side. Yeah, SMGs found success early on, but we were a little bit slow on our pressure. And that's what allows Boston to still hold on to this goal line stop. How are you going to force Coy off the respawn? EMP is going to be reset back to the map, and neither team has yet to get a score.
Yeah, and I like this from Toronto, just allowing this EMP to reset because it changes the battleground, and it's on your terms. Problem is they don't track Afro moving through dirt. So now all of a sudden Joe's in some trouble, has nowhere to go, and Boston once again are able to find the time to at least win back the mid-map. But as you call for it, Kleenex needed to get involved in it as he does. Toronto able to find a couple of kills to work some pressure back in their own right.
And now you know that all of Boston are coming off the respawn, and your lead blocker and Insight finds the opening kill. But now where are you going to decide to go? Because no one in a position to try to keep Insight alive. Your next player to defense is going to be Joe. He gets cut down. And Afro with 3 allows Boston to be on the driver's seat now. You can go right towards B.
Afro didn't expect how close Kips was playing, but the trades, as you mentioned, allow Boston to continue to play up. Purge, a little bit of trouble with the wall jump, able to find some damage. Find the kill, and now all of a sudden Purge is kind of on an island. It will be over.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough. But here we go. Boston still in control, and keep an eye on the minimap. Spart's already gained some space at A.
Yeah, it's all on Kips. Kips trying to single-handedly slow this one down. Even though Nasty finds a kill, it's Kip with the MPC. Lines up a double and gets the stop there for Koi. So now if you are Nasty, a player in a great position, doesn't get anything done with this. So Koi have a little bit of breathing room to work out of their spawn.
Small bit, but we're only down to 1:50 on the clock. And outside of a small threat towards B for Toronto, there hasn't been many offensive looks. Joe up top. No, can't quite get to the platform, but Kips able to find one. And here we go. 5 in a row, and Kips is able to score. And with that, confirm the Hellstorm. So Toronto now all of a sudden, the blink of an eye, everything to work with here in the last 90 seconds.
Hey, realistically, if you're a Kips, you can use this Hellstorm to guarantee score number 2, but who needs it when you have all the map control the way that you do? Purge takes the extremely long route around the backside, and now you're just hoping that your teammates can find the kills to stop the objective. They do not. Koi gets score number 2.
It happens that quick, my friend. It happens that fast. Yep. Purge red, dealt with. And now all of a sudden, Toronto with a minute on the clock are going to have dirt control. Joe able to find more, and if you find this EMP in hand for Toronto, they may touch the 90% possession mark in this half. It has not been all that great for Boston, but they do clear out dirt cleanly, and that's an opportunity to move with some speed over towards A, putting some pressure on the Toronto's defense.
Yeah, but you know, Toronto already off the respawn, so we need to add a little bit of finesse into this objective push. Kips is only able to take down one. Afro there for the trade, but now you have all the presence you want at this A point. You just got to get past Insight, who's trying to single-handedly hold it down, can only find one in Boston. Get there first on the board.
That's big, especially considering how quickly Toronto were able to start to take over in the 2-minute mark. 14 seconds on the clock. Boston with some good map control over the middle of the map, but Joe is on the pinch, and they're going to be aware of that. Afro clearing out space through Jens, able to find one, but now he's the last one standing, and Toronto's going to have a chance to get the overtime in. Keep in mind, they still have the Hellstorm to play with. If they want to try to force this forward, and Kips has hit the pause button, so he's going to try to call that in. This could lead to a very quick score. Boston's going to try to push forward and take care of the EMP carrier, and in that moment, they do. So a tough decision on both sides, but Boston make the right read. They deal with the carrier, and that pretty much mitigates the Hellstorm.
Oh yeah, whoever's Koi's objective runner right there, all you have to do is just stay alive. Allow the Hellstorm to be impactful, because Purge through low dirt, all it took was one-on-one gunfight. I promise you, one of those little missiles that's coming out of the Hellstorm was going to take care of him, and you would have gotten score number 3. But you rush that push, get nothing out of the Hellstorm, and now Boston, realistically, after an abysmal first half and time of possession dominate there from Koi, only down 1 with no Hellstorm.
Yeah. Feels like a Sunday miracle for Boston.
I don't know. It's also a little sloppy here from Koi.
Oh, for sure. Again, to Bucket's point, we are just spitting rainbows over here.
Yeah, you know, I'm always speaking facts, though. I don't care hell what organization you're playing for. If you're playing good, I'm going to tell you. If you're playing bad, I'm going to tell you.
I hear that. Afro has actually found himself a Hellstorm of his own. Okay. See how Boston try to use that, as they're going to get 3 down immediately. Insight just needs to be traded. There should be a chance here for the breach. We'll see how they deal with it as they get wiped in their own right. And we swap over to see how Boston calm out this next moment with the breach. Listen in.
Pick up.
Pick up.
Hit left, P2.
They're long box. They're long box. You guys pressing clean. Joe.
Toby's already left. You get ball, go right. I can shriek.
I hear you.
I'm going right. I'm freaking instantly.
Good pinch your S&D.
Hear you. There's
Fake kills. Over help. Fake kills.
One shot. One aim me from their dirt.
Okay, it's all good. Listen. Okay, listen. 2p5. All is in the crate.
I think he's under. I think
I'm gonna pinch our circle or
Yes.
Trust me.
Let's see our circle.
mid right now.
I'm getting to a circle. Pin on the right, but
I'm looking on the right.
Nick. He's right side P5 trying to get us.
Right side P5.
Also reset mid.
one shot, didn't he?
Zig to AC.
On me. Low circle. You know, back to P4.
Low ring, Toby. There's two.
I hear you.
I'll go left now, okay?
I hear you.
Give me top
On the right, bro. On the right, Gibbs.
Shot clear P4.
One shot.
I stunned him like goes short somewhere or something.
Yeah, he's short.
Long,
Short dead.
Joe long. How long? Weak.
I'm one
How
shot.
long dead? Missing one. He's probably boxing me or something.
I hear you. I try to get black down.
I'm wrapping dirt, okay?
Just slow pit it.
I'm top ring right now.
I'm showing mid. They're long. One shot. 1 HP. They're long. Absolutely long.
Yeah,
They got 1 HP.
They're long.
They're gap. One shot.
ASD, long and five.
Nice shit.
They come black boys, 26.
I hear you.
Let's go.
Three. He's out.
Our gap chasing you,
Our gap got me, bro.
What's he doing?
He pushed up long. He pushed up long.
Long, weak.
Doesn't that final moment right there just kind of spell out what's been going wrong for Boston? They do everything they need to besides deal with the one player on the pitch. Kips finds 3, and now all of a sudden he's going to score behind it. It's just one of those moments, dude. It's just like the perfect example of where things go wrong for Boston. You hear them coming through it. Everyone's got good reads, good comms, but they miss one player, and that leads to a complete punishment, and now a chance for maybe a relay for Toronto.
And it's always the rookie. I don't know what has been possessing Kips ever since he enters this lineup. Just whenever you need him in a position, he is there. And you need him to get multiple kills, he finds it. He's the guy who, when that Hellstorm gets invested, flies through top mid and finds a 2-piece through low dirt. And then off the respawn, gets 3 to stop that push. The rookie continues to shine. And now there's only 2 minutes left. Koi just got a hold.
Well, the play for Boston starting to develop over towards A. Afro in particular at mid-map wins a key gunfight. Joe also stopped from pushing forward. So again, you look to the rook. Kips for 1. Not able to get more though, and that will be a very quick score for Boston. Tons of time on the clock here. Plus, with the next EMP location being at bottom, pressure is still very much so alive and well. Well, the problem is Boston cannot themselves stay alive and well, and Toronto will re-control dirt.
Yeah, Koi already worked their way out the OE, found that opening gunfight, and now have control of the side of the map that they want. Boston have been able to make up for the time of possession category, now at 41%, but you still need one more on the board. Try to force OT, and when you're not finding kills like the way Koi are, 2 in sync, now they have the map control to potentially get another one.
Purge will shut down the play very quickly by himself to find 2. Follow up from Spart, though, not going to work out, so Joe's double keeps Toronto alive and at least contesting the bottom side of the map. 60 seconds on the clock. 3-2 score Boston, the ones who have to make a move. And at the moment, Toronto just playing, I wouldn't say full keep away. They're just zoning out the battleground, and now Insight will grab. And this comes down to, does he decide to park the bus or not with the last 50 seconds?
It all depends where these kills are going down, and the team kills definitely going to help this scenario. You were looking at the rookie to potentially find kill number 2. But you're more than happy to just control the EMP. Allow Boston continuously to try to chase you down. There's only 40 seconds left.
Yeah, and this is really smart play from Insight. Just tracking behind his teammates, knowing Boston has to chase, and the game-winning score could potentially be here, and it will. Really heads-up play with the clock from Toronto with the advantage. Insight getting the final score. Boston will keep it relatively tight. I mean, considering at one point this was like an 80% possession arrow in favor of Toronto, but both Hellstorms come up empty. And even though there may be a chance to score here at A, there's just not enough time for any overtime to come through.
Yeah, they have no chance at the reset, so the tally is going to be 4-3, but Koi are going to walk away victorious, making the adjustments off of that map that they played versus Falcons yesterday, not allowing the opposite team to dominate the time of possession. You do it flawlessly, basically in the opening round. A couple mishaps from both teams with both Hellstorms in play that don't lead to scores, but Koi a little bit more proactive on their counterattacks, just kept themselves in a comfortable lead and always forced Boston to play from the back foot.
Yeah, and I would say, and I don't know if there's an actual number behind this or not, it just feels like Toronto's ability to relay is one of the strongest overall in the league right now. We see it on Den very often, on exposure. I think especially in this particular instance, we see them going from the neutral midpoint score into a second very quickly. We've also got to keep in mind that they are the only team to 8-0 a squad on Overload, I believe, and they've done it 3 times. I mean, it's been pretty next level in terms of what Toronto could do in terms of when they start to score. They score often, but it helps when your time of possession is also as high as it has been, generally speaking, for Toronto. They're definitely giving themselves chances, to say it plainly.
Yeah, and it also helps when the rookie that you picked up is the perfect fit for this lineup. He's like a switchblade. Him and Neum from that Huntsman lineup do it for their respective organizations. One's for LA, one for Toronto. Just whatever you need them to do at the time of the game, they are willing to do it. You take a look at the highlights here. Boston found 3 dead in the feed. Can't locate Kips. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get 3. I'm gonna recover the EMP, and I'm also gonna score it. The guy is just doing everything for Koi. The little things making such a big difference. And without a doubt, Kips is jumping up to that Rookie of the Year conversation for me.
I think so too. It's always really interesting when we have conversations surrounding Rookie of the Year because, you know, you look at a player like Lurks, for instance, he's also been unbelievable, but he also finds himself on Carolina. Whereas, you know, it's just Kips is finding impact as an individual, but his team is also winning. It just helps, I think, boost you in that conversation pool. But again, you know, it's for me, it's beyond the Rookie of the Year conversation. It's can Toronto do what they faulted to do last year of being a contender on Sundays? You know, we start to see that in Major 2. We start to see that they could hang with the big dogs that are out there. They could even win a couple of the maps, if not series. And more often than not, they're handling the teams that are at the bottom of the standings with relative ease. So everything's been trending in the right direction for Toronto. That's the long and short of what we're getting to. And now we jump into map number 4, where Toronto would hopefully close things out. And eyes, I think for me, just go down to the synergy that Boston's looking for with Afro in the mix, trying to get that again, that long-standing or more long-standing duo between Nasty and Afro back together.
And now you're going into a map that neither team has yet to play so far in a professional setting, but you have definitely been putting in practice on the back end. We've been able to see gridlocks a bunch of times so far throughout this weekend. And a lot of that is just due to winning a majority of your rotations. And when you got players doing numbers like this, I'm telling you, like, Joe's always been the superstar. From the beginning of the season, everyone's like, get Joe to see some help. Who would have thought that a rookie who's stepping on his first year is sitting toe-to-toe right next to him, always making the big-time plays? These guys are a dynamic duo without a doubt.
Yeah, man. It's interesting because what would you say? I'm going to go on a limb here. I would say the one time that he had help, like in a major setting last year, was when Mercules was subbing in for Beans, like at Boca Raton. Dude, unreal stuff, man. I think especially when you talk about the story of a player like Kips, like, not to like downplay it, but his Challengers career prior to getting picked up was relatively insignificant in terms of other Challengers players who find themselves getting that promotion into the league. So it comes with this sudden level of spark and shock. And it's been really, really solid for Toronto as a whole, thanks to Kips and the electricity they found in him. 1.27 KD in this series, already at 64 kills. So could there be an opportunity to boost that on Gridlock? Map that I will say personally, Jay, I'm pumped to see this one back in the rotation. I love this map.
Oh yeah, I love this map, but I don't really know how I feel about it in this title so far.
That's fair.
It can be very punishing for certain hard points, especially if you're late to the punch. But talk a little bit more about Kips and being prepared for this moment. I think without a doubt being picked up by the Huntsman and Meta's moving them across the world to a different state, getting him in that environment of like what it's like to be a professional, has definitely prepared him for Toronto Koi's position. So into the map number 4 we go, with Koi looking to close this one out. Boston already late to the party here at P1.
All right, here we go. Toronto early time. The headies that are still just as nasty around this mid position, that one in particular. So Nasty has to kind of give up the angle and play off timing, and that will work out. The SMGs will connect. Boston find the break, 25 seconds, but again, heads on swivels here. You've got pressure from Insight trying to flip the spawns.
Yeah, it's a good route there from Insight to just get one and just draw the attention from Boston to put focus on him, because now it's going to open up so many other lanes around the map, and Jodeci win the biggest one off the rotation towards the 18. It's going to allow Koi to set up, and if you are Boston, preach, I promise you, you don't win rotations on Gridlock, you're most likely going to lose. So Nasty needs to make his impact felt on this pinch and doesn't line up the shots.
Yeah, and I love this position from Insight, just making sure that the play has to be through fire. Spart already getting back over towards the front side at 18. This position at pillar, tough to shrug players off of. This thanks to the fact that you can just shoulder it all day long. And as Toronto clean the field, now they're just going to try to deal with the last couple of members. Afro cannot get the regen. Purge will also drop, and that is a nasty staggered set of spawns where you can just wall bounce and keep the reinforcements at bay. Really solid hill here for Toronto.
Yeah, you can't even touch this if you're Boston. Now you're banking on a 2-2 split spawn opportunity to get some kind of time at this HP, and then Spark from the back line's able to at least get Koi off of it for now, but spawns flip. Joe sees with the repositioning and the M15 holds down the street spot and gets a couple kills for his teammates to hold down the remaining 10, and they have the road to the new, so Boston gotta play ahead.
Yeah, Owen Kips has seen Spark make his way into towels, so Joe will be alerted to that. Follow up from Afro. Also Red. Really good start here for Toronto. I mean, rotation-wise, we expect this, but setup-wise, they have absolutely dominated so far through 3 hills.
Spark is going to get taken down over towards Showers, and now you know all of Boston Breach are going to be attacking from the front side, and a team kill isn't going to help this scenario because now you are outnumbered. Koi hold on to the bush, and Boston can't do anything right now.
Yeah, no, they cannot. Oh, mercy. 87-9. Yes, that number is real. And now Insight stunned up, but damage into Purge. Not going to win the battle, though. Leaving Joe by himself. Not quite able to collide and find the double. CleanX feeling like you could find the last couple of kills in the final 10 seconds. We'll try to commit, but not going to work out. He will spawn way out of the picture going to P4. So a moment here for Boston to come back into this if they can win spawns and get the early time of Grandmas.
Yeah, they already take care of Insight. You also take care of Joe without anyone falling. So you're an instant 4v2, make it a 4v1 scenario. You just got to trade the rookie, and you're able to do it very cleanly. So Boston secure the back spawns and now need this 50 seconds to make it a game.
Yeah, Purge just trying to get some space at the front side of the hill. That will not work out, leading to Toronto finding a 2-for-1 exchange. Force team kill from Afro. Nasty back in the picture, has the last 1v1 versus Kips in Boston. Okay, slow starters, but all it takes is one good hill, and we might be seeing it here on the 4th.
And it all starts with just winning a rotation. Boston secure the back spawns, now know exactly where the pressure's going to come in for Koi, and have kept themselves in the game with the P4. Great read on the Joe, but he still makes his impact felt. Because you might as well contest it if you got these close spawns if you're Koi.
Yeah, Afro able to get one. Nasty, another 1v1 situation for him. And the opening damage will lead to a very easy gunfight. So Toronto will exit the first rotation, up about double the points. And they've got the setup already building over towards new. There will be a little bit of difficulty reading where exactly Boston are with this current position. And that's going to lead to 3 straight dead. Good opening break for Breach.
Yeah, fantastic plays from your playmakers, setting up those calculated routes on the back lines. How should he get a clean 3 dead without anyone falling? And that's led to a good chunk of time here so far at the P1. 35 seconds remaining. It's going to fall onto Joe, trying to work around the backside of Mail. He does win a one-on-one gunfight. Now it's all on Nasty to try to hold this one down.
Yeah, but he will be pinched up again. The chaos spawns ensuing. Purge following, trying to hold out this position over towards Broken Stairs. And now the rewrap all the way back through the overpass. Nice shots from Spar, takes care of CleanX. So numbers advantage for Breach on the rotation, but Toronto are getting some good scrap time here and can actually push through the exit. Yeah, they're going to block spawns with still a couple of seconds left on P1. So now it's just on to every single gunfight for Boston from inside P2 is a massive one. And Kips is going to try to open things up through Mail, Red, and dealt with by Purge, but the trades are out, and Toronto will have the numbers to at least try to hold the spawns.
You got to take a page out of Koi's book and try to hold this from the front side. You already have Mail control. You have 18-wheeler as well. You just need to win these opening fights, and it helps when a team kill goes down for the first engagement. But you lose every single fight after that. Now it's only on Afro to hold his positioning. He gets taken down, and Koi with a masterful break there.
Yeah, Purge needs to keep his life from the front at ATM. You have to wait for this pitch to develop from around the back end. He does perfectly. Nasty finds 2. Spart holding, waiting to see if Joe will try to chow this with 20 seconds remaining, and whoa, Joe still wins that gunfight. Trade is very easily found though by Nasty. So once more, Boston chipping back away at this lead. They're gonna be late on rotation though, over to new.
They've made all the adjustments on the hard points that costed them on the first half. That time you split the P2, but this is the one that really caused you problems. And it all starts by finding that opening gunfight. It's going to be Purge onto Insight. So now you know that you have Koi trapped out. Insight's not going to be in the play. You got the numbers. You just got to win a fight. And Kleenex rips Sparks the shred. Jodeci's finds the second. And now it's a 2v2, making a 2v0. Koi hold.
Yeah, man, and Insight spawns in the worst possible position with that 2-2 split from Boston on the way. He spawns all the way down behind Grandma's house where Boston are currently spawning. But because that gunfight takes so long, he gets involved through small and turns the final gunfight in favor of Toronto. Boston, though, quick on the rebreak. 25 seconds, not insignificant time, and actually pretty critical time here for Boston in particular to chip back into the lead. And that will indeed be the case. Toronto are going to give this up and play for their new setup.
They have to forfeit this because if you contest on the backside of Dojo, you lose that gunfight, then you're spawning all the way at bridge side. And that's going to not put your teammates in a very good spot there off the roto. So you're going to cut your losses. Boston only going to be down by 30, but they're again looking for the opening engagement. Joe playing an off angle is going to be able to spot, and him and Kips combine for two to try to hold down the backside, and they do just that.
Yeah, really good read to finish off the final. Should know if you're Toronto that the spawns will be from the front. Kips, yeah, just the shoulder to confirm that. The timing out of the gunfight versus Afro. Plus, movement to shut down Nasty. One more? No, not the case. Help is on the way, though. Nate over the top has Spart completely tagged up. And Kips is just right back up top once again, just dancing with this Boston break attempt from the front. And he is still shooting and shredding. Boston need to try to find the break with the last 20 remaining.
Oh, yeah, final 20, and finally kills go your way. You need this time, or you cannot allow Koi to successfully get this time. So the pressure needs to be here. Spart and Nasty get two. Kleenex and Joe respond with two of their own. The stun is going to have a little bit of an impact there on that gunfight at Boston for now. They're going to try to hold on to this final five with the roto to new.
Okay. Need to have a lockdown set up in the next two hills if you're Boston. Spart will drop on L-turn. You got Afro watching the pinch, but yeah, as Toronto find kills, he gives up that position. He knows he needs to help out, so now it's just down to Nasty, trying to dance in and out of the hard point he's found. And Toronto will find an immediate counter break onto P1 to find more time.
Yeah, but Kips hops up there, so now you know if you're Boston, we still have the numbers. We just got to now trade one player, and that's going to be Kleenex. So an immediate break there from Boston, keeping themselves into the mix, but we got to get our trophies down. There's no way frags over the top are going to have that much impact. They get three, and that leads to the Koi break.
Not on the most defined hard point for East. Gotta have one. Purge able to bounce back with a nice double, but that was a lot of time that slipped through the fingers of Boston. And now you've got pressure on rotation starting to build. Insight does get stunned, though. Can't turn to find the gunfight onto Afro. Kleenex following behind his long-standing duo, but not in a position to do too much, at least not initially, towards P2. So Boston will open up the hard point in their name. Toronto, a little bit of a break opportunity with a 2-2 split.
They got pressure through mail. Just got to trade out Nasty. You go 1-for-1 in that battle. But now the rest of Boston still here trying to hold it down. Kleenex in a power position though towards male side. Secured the front spawns here for Koi. The same exact scenario that went around in the first set of HPs. Koi's looking to hold it down for the game.
Yeah, Boston just do not want to try to be breaking this through bus stop. But they will find a chance to contest. Just that's all they could do. A moment of contest at best. Toronto can still win in this hard point, so Boston have to play for every single second. Moment of confusion here, though, for Toronto. Not 100% aware of where the spawns were for Boston, so a couple of freebies get tallied, make it all 4 now straight dead. And that will lead to a nice moment of rotation timing-wise for Boston on top of that.
Yeah, but now this is what Boston needs to do. Win the gunfights off the rotation, but Afro unfortunately gets caught. And now your teammates are going to be outnumbered over towards P3. So Purge, what do you got, my friend? You need to line up a couple. It's all on you and Spart. They find the initial 2, and Boston win the rotation.
Okay. You cannot lose sight of how these spawns can move around, though. And at the moment, Afro is the one kind of making sure that Toronto are going to be hitting through the small room side. Purge up close and personal. Overwhelmed. Oh, no. Another one of those moments, Jay. It's another one of those moments where Boston have the exact right setup. They should have no questions on the reads, and they don't win a single gunfight.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You just get overwhelmed on the backside of Dojo because you had Afro scouting for that pinch route, but no one from Koi hits it. They know that someone has to be watching that side, but say, screw it, let's take our 4v3 on this side of the map. You win every single gunfight for that final break. And Koya able to close out the series in 4, potentially add Gridlock to the mix. But Boston, again, losing the key gunfights off the rotation, cost them in another HP.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, kind of the eye test for Toronto, largely positive, but it's the same story, just maybe a different chapter of the same book here in terms of finding rotation success. It all comes down to just timing and making right decision making at the right time. And so far that's been true, it feels like, for Toronto across the board, especially with looks early here on Gridlock. And in particular, you know, no stranger to the map are Insight and Kleenex. They played the map very competitively with Black Ops 4, so they're going to know exactly where they need to be, what times they need to be there at. Maybe I would say Kips might be the only one who really hasn't maybe had a chance to dive into Black Ops 4 just based on his age, but that's pretty superfluous. And for, I would say, Toronto, just if you can just keep finding those timings, you're going to keep finding wins, especially knowing that their slaying presence has not been affected no matter what the map is. It's just not getting beat on rotation, which is where they've often faltered versus top teams in the league.
Yeah, the good thing for Toronto